Hey, all you wanderlusters and hometown heroes. This is Remain, Rome, Return, a podcast that pits your hometown lifestyle against the allure of far-off frontiers. In the show, we are going to try to settle the age-old debate on whether it is better to be the local legend or the one that got away.
And we are your host. I am Christian.
And I am Damien.
And together, we are going to spend each episode trying to discover which lifestyle truly is best. Is it better to stay close to the roots that raised you, or to fly away into the unknown?
Yep, and during these conversations, we will be discussing personal experiences and asking guests for their input to decide once and for all whether it is better to remain, roam, or return.
The guitar.
Christian's got his little guitar under the desk right now.
What
I believe that's called the ukulele.
Do you know
Maybe
that?
it is a little guitar.
Aloha Lele.
Do you know Not Another Teen Movie? The
Oh,
movie?
of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're the first one that know. Do you know Jenny's got a gun?
Janie Brink's got a gun. Get her, she's got a gun.
My kind of guys.
Oh, that's an old school reference. I love that.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I
Not
love-
confused with the movie Old School.
No, there's another. Probably came out about the same time. Old School and Not Another. Me and Damien were just talking about, and then about it's probably I can't remember if we talked about, but for a bit there haven't been good parody movies. Like Not Another Teen Movie is such a good, or like the scary movies of those like time
Euro
period.
Trip.
Yeah, would you consider Euro Trip a parody?
I think so. I think it's a parody on like a coming of age, like traveling abroad.
Yeah,
type
but
of a show.
not literally a parody of existing movies, because I think what Not Another Teen Movie is mastering is the fact that they are I think they are mocking about 10 different movies. My wife is a movie encyclopedia, and she knew all the faces that they were cut from every of the movies, and that was amazing. Like she told me, that was from that one, that was from that one.
Oh, so she can place the actual like joke based off of the movie. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's not
Welcome back to the Remain, Roam, Return podcast, everybody. Welcome back to Not Another Teen Movie Breakdown Edition. Today we have with us Paul Puscas of the Whereaboutstales. What do we do? What is this called? Radio
Podcasting?
Wave Podcast. Thank you. We're from the Whereabouts.
I am
podcast.
very like. Did you have a stroke? Because like you are not remembering simple words, which
He
is
mentioned that he changed his office. Could be
Yes.
because of that.
yeah.
Yes, I'm a little. I'm trying to bring the energy because my mind is a little crazy right now. So I'm like, maybe if I just act wacky, nobody will know how fucking stupid I am today. But I just redid the podcast studio, and I can hear how bad it's echoing, and it's really fucking with me.
It's not that noticeable, surprisingly. Going
Okay,
like
cool.
I know you went from carpet to like wood floors,
Mm-hmm.
and so, but I'm not noticing an echo at least. But maybe
Okay,
you are.
great. It's just the voices in my head. So, Paul,
Yes.
tell us about. First of all, the content king. By the way, every time I get on social media, I see a new freaking guest, a new episode. I'm like, this guy doesn't sleep. It's like midnight over where you're at right now, and you just showed up, and you're like, "Yep, I'm ready to roll."
The content king. That's no. I try to. So how can I start? We started aggressively, and now I don't know where to start from.
All right, bring it down. Let me
Came
take
in too hot, and then now we got
take a nice, refreshing drink of my Sprite Zero Chill.
How was it in the Karate Kid? To the right, to
Yeah.
the left. Do you know the movie?
Wax on,
wax
wax
off.
off.
This
Wax
is
off.
exclusively a movie podcast now.
Honestly, that would be okay with me. That was my first podcast idea that I wanted to do.
As far as I realized it until now, I think we are close to the same generation. I think that's why we match so many movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1990s when I was born.
No.
Oh, were we wrong?
84.
You must be much younger.
84.
What was that? 2004?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, the Whereabouts Tales.
Yeah, tell us about that.
it started. So, originally I'm from Romania, living in Germany at the moment, and I kind of think about this since a while because I'm a chatter, as you most probably haven't realized it yet. And I had a first thing that the same thing that you guys have with a friend of mine, but we started in Romanian, and we were both remote. Due to life kicking in and the distance kicking in, we couldn't match our schedules, and I think we did 30 something episodes, and then we just fuck it.
Yeah.
Do we curse here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've already ticked the box on that one.
Okay,
No.
perfect.
This is already demonetized.
I saw it on Spotify. It didn't work. And then I was talking to my wife before Christmas, and we talk about like restarting somehow. She's not really a kind of a person that she wants to show her face.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I have to find something that could be interesting for me. And I thought, as I'm an expat since 10 years, living in Germany, working in a huge corporation, I thought the crazy stories that I have in my last 10 years, they must not be unique.
Right.
And that was the spark of an idea, and it escalated quickly because it's...
I mean, you're taking off, dude.
Yeah.
You're taking off.
I'm okay. I haven't started having any kind of interest in taking it like rapid. I just said I want to be able to publish one episode a week, and if I'm able to do that, I'm happy. I managed to do it until now. I think I have some. I'm recording now for August or something like this. So I went a bit too much in front of it. But there was a moment in which I didn't want to say no, and now I think I have 3 recordings this week, and I think I have 3 or 4 next week. So I think I will cover the summer, and then I have to take a slow break because I need to focus on somehow what am I doing next, because it's and I have to say, man, the huge help, and I have to say here is a non sponsored sentence, but Riverside was a huge help here in editing. And I think that's the same for every of us who's using Riverside, because I did the editing before manually, and that's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, never. We tried that, and it was just like we tried the whole Discord and uploading to a third party edit. I was like, fuck that. I think Christian makes clips just like what you just select like the minute you want, and then you just edit it down.
Again, not sponsored by them, but
exactly.
As it saved us.
We're paying customers.
We are paying customers.
Absolutely.
They should be paying us. And we've recommended it like to so many people because it has like I'm not a huge AI fan, but in this instance, I am super happy for it because it does get the transcripts fairly accurate. I would say they're pretty good, and so being able to clip it. Yeah. No, it also helped. I was working initially on like a shitty computer where it would not crash, but would go really slow. And I got a new computer, and that made it so much better.
Yeah.
The thing is that what I really like is that I like the text-based editing. I don't have to. I just scroll to a text. I know exactly when it started because I know exactly what to talk about. I know what I have to cut out, and that's really easy. That makes my life so easy.
Yeah, we do like kind of catchphrases that will remind me, be like, cut that, and then I know I'll just search cut that, and that's exactly where I need to cut it. Exactly. So it's really sorry, we're getting way inside baseball. So anyways, welcome to the show, buddy. I've been seeing your content all over the place. I know we've been sharing guests back and forth, and I know we've been trying to get this set up for quite a while now, and I'm glad it's finally happening. So can you take us way back? You're from Romania. How long, were you born and raised there? What did that look like?
I don't know how much you know Romania, but I'm born in the only place that you most probably know, in Transylvania.
Hey, all right. I know about that.
Absolutely, everyone. I'm born near Cluj, so it's a I think the third city as a size from Romania. don't. It's a small city for US. I think it's a tiny one. I think we talk
Okay.
about 300,000 inhabitants or something like this. So
Okay.
That's about the
something
size
small.
of the city I currently live in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
See?
a very small U.S. city.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Born and raised there. I studied there in my village. I did school, like a really cool childhood, I have to say. A lot outside. I While growing up, we start to have cable TV. By the way, I don't want to make any references, but I made a nice episode with Milo, which we both shared as well.
Mm-hmm. Shout out.
And we talk about the differences between being raised in an 80 and 90 in Romania versus US. That's a cool one. But what I was saying, a lot of time outside, a lot of friends outside. It was really nice playing football. I was all my life a fat guy, which was not
Okay.
kind of nice, but
I feel you.
I got used to it. I'm struggling still, and I think I'm on a good path now, but I'm struggling still. I had I would say a normal childhood.
Nice.
I studied. I wanted somehow on the computer side, so
Okay.
but to make the difference, to understand difference, so I got the first computer somewhere in 1999, I think, and I think my parents paid a fucking fortune for it, and it was a
Just for
piece
you to
of
ruin it with your Britney Spears printout naked photos.
no,
No.
it was Anna
Wasn't
Kournikova.
it wasn't Britney Spears.
It was Anna
It was
Kournikova.
Christina Aguilera. Get it right, Damien. All the Napster.
Yeah. And of course I had Napster, I had Mirk, I had
LimeWire, baby.
absolutely LimeWire,
Yep.
DC++.
Oh yeah.
And I started to discover the beauty of the computer. Then I went to high school. I did informatics. I'm so confused about the different name of schools between US. So high school is what after you finish the basic school. So
So high school is like ages like 14 to 18 here.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's what I call high school as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
I did some kind of informatics thing, a lot of programming and stuff, and then I want to go on with that shit. I didn't manage to enter the right university, and then life hit. But the crazy thing, I did manage to enter a technical university. And we still had the old, and this is a crazy story, we still had the old technical university from the communist time, because it was like 10 years after the revolution. Romania was a communist country when I was born.
Yeah.
And the teachers were still there, and the way in which they were teaching was still there. And man, it was a shit show. So we were studying in early 2000, we were studying with the same technical manuals from 70s 80s.
Oh.
Zero
Wow.
progress. Yeah,
And of course, that's the 1670s.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Now, I
absolutely.
heard a story, and I want to clear it up. You just tell me right or wrong.
Yes.
One of your favorite teachers growing up was actually Dracula.
No, but I had so
I'm seeing that German humor come through now.
no. Look,
Nope, not
I
at all.
have not met Dracula. He is not a real person.
no. So I had a crazy.
Nein, du bist deine Gabe. That was good.
That was a good one.
No, I had a so what I keep remembering from high school. I had a I don't want to say crazy, but an interesting math teacher who was
Okay.
not acting like normal, and that's something I remember. I had an interesting.
Like you couldn't see him in a mirror?
You couldn't see her in a mirror.
Couldn't see. Oh, see?
Or him? Who knows?
Draculas can be females.
No, they can't.
No, they can. Okay. Good.
And there
Good.
was
Get him out of here.
And there was a chemistry teacher, and now that I think about it, you know, the kind of person who's not grading you because you know or don't know something, is grading you because she's in a bad mood or in a good mood.
Or based on how they like you or not. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
No, not even that. Not even that. I think it has to do something with the sexual life.
Oh,
Yes.
all right. Heard that.
Yeah, so There is no other explanation. When you're
Yeah.
today in a bad mood and then the next 2 weeks in a bad mood and then one day in a month in a good mood, it has something to do with your sexual life. So
I think that's statistics, right? That was your
Absolutely.
statistics teacher.
But crazy story about the technical university. You have to imagine how crazy people were on the communist time, because they had the power, and that power was a fucking drug for them. So there was a crazy teacher who was gathering all the students. You have, like, when you're in university, you have a student book where you get your grades. And we had an exam in a huge room, and he said, okay, everyone should bring their note cards there. He opened the window, he threw all the cards out, and said the first 10 people who are coming back with the cards, they have a 5. So to explain a bit the grade system, the grade system is from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And 5, it's you pass the class, and everything under 5, you don't pass the class.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have to imagine everyone was shitting their pants to run and get the note cards back, put it on the table. He gathered again the cards and he threw them out again and said the next 10 they got a 6.
Oh, he showed you. Don't jump the gun.
No, because said, okay. And then the smart guys said, okay, I will stay for the bigger grades. And then they said, the rest, you come next time.
Oh, gotcha. And that's communism, folks.
Absolutely. And that's like, you couldn't do anything. Like, you couldn't bloody do anything, man. Anything. It was so it was frustrating a lot of levels.
Yeah.
But that was I have to say, one good thing was an unpaid university. So there was a state financed university, so that was the reason why I was there. Because it was free. But it was a shit show. I managed to finish it. They have a saying that the first 7 years are the hardest until you manage to reach the third one. Then it's easy.
The first 7.
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. I would say I started working in the meantime. I did still had my my IT passion there. And what was really cool, I had a friend of mine, my best friend from that time. He was living in the same building with me. And again, wild Romania, beginning of the 2000s, we had our first internet service provider in our village. We too had the first company, and we were the internet service providers.
Oh wow!
What year is that?
Oh, I want to say 2001, 2002, somewhere around there.
Okay.
That's not, like, terribly, like,
I was gonna say that's not that bad.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember when, like, the first time I got to use the internet at, like, school was probably around that time period.
So we had dial-up. We had dial-up. If you remember the we had dial-up, and then we find a way in which because the problem was in the big cities you had them. I think it was the same in US. In the big cities was never a problem, but getting them in the small villages was a problem. You didn't have that many customers that you could make money with. And we said, okay, we want to do it for us first thing first, because we want to have internet access.
Yeah.
And then we managed to get a radio. This is crazy. Even when I'm saying we managed to get the radio connection, which was 512 kilobytes. And that's not even an MB download.
Yeah.
And that was holding about 50 customers at the beginning. So
damn. I gotta ask, so what is like the main, so okay, in America, cheeseburgers is what you think of. Cheeseburgers or pizza is what you think of when you think of food in America, right? And French fries. When I'm thinking of Romanian food, what am I thinking of?
Garlic. I mean, do you think about something else? We are the only country in the world where KFC has a garlic sauce. Come on.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, you got to keep them at bay,
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. There is. So if you think about food, that man, it's such a big difference, because there was no fast food chains. There was nothing. So the first McDonald's, when the first McDonald's opened, I think 1995, if I remember it correctly.
Wow.
In Bucharest, the queue was unbelievable, because everyone was going like going to see Christ for the second time. No, it's
Mick
No,
Christ.
I remember reading an
Absolutely,
article
man.
about when the first McDonald's finally opened in Russia after
in
the
Moscow.
wall fell,
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
I think there was a legitimately line for like 3 days.
No, it
People
was-
waited in line for 3 days
There are
for a
pictures of
McDonald's
that. There was-
cheeseburger.
I do remember, and I have to say that the thing is that after I moved to Germany, I realized that McDonald's is not luxury, because as long as I lived in Romania, McDonald's was fucking luxury because
Right.
it was so expensive. Like you might get it once for your birthday, but not as a birthday party.
Oh wow.
No. It's like every once in a blue moon. Like,
Yeah.
So McDonald's was that expensive?
Yeah.
Whoa. See, and everybody here is complaining that it's more than $1.50 now.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it was the McDonald's was so most probably, if you think about it, McDonald's was not expensive. The problem was that with the money, the situation in the country was shitty, and most
Sure.
probably that was the reason why everything was expensive. I do remember that it doesn't even matter the value, but I do remember the salary of my father going from one month to another, from I think 20,000 lei to 100,000 lei.
Oh
Because
wow.
that big was the depreciation.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's
There were-
terrible. What's the relationship to that currency to US at the time, do you think?
At the time I think it was moving so much because of the depreciation.
Sure.
So I think before the denomination, Romania has done a denomination, I think 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't remember, where they cut 4 zeros from the money because there was too much. We were always talking about millions and stuff.
Yeah.
And the moment is about, so back then when I remember, it was about 50 lei a dollar.
Wow.
All right. That's crazy. That's a lot of McDonald's.
50,000, yeah. No, 50,000, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's nothing comparable. It's nothing. It's, I always like to say I like to say that we don't really have fun stories from that time. So what I do remember the nice summers that I spent on my grandmother's place, and she was. I didn't know what the fucking McDonald's French fries was, because I always had the homemade ones.
Yeah.
So you we don't like to get too political, and I don't think it is more history of you would have been 6 or 7 when the wall. Do you remember it? Is that a memory you have?
So I have fading memories, but I do have, I think, 2 things. One thing that scared the crap out of me, and that was happening in the first day of the. I don't know how much you know about the revolution, but there was a popular revolution, and they took off Ceausescu. What happened afterwards, or what was the initial? I don't want to gossip on that because there are anyhow lucky guesses. We will never know the official information. So maybe in 50 years, but it was a revolution. My grandparents from my father's side were living in the next building from the building where I was living with my parents. So they had a flat there, we had a flat there, so it was really close by, and it was quite common when I was going from my parents to their place to sleep, and there was just I don't know if it was 50 meters the distance, and it was the revolution already started, and they said no, you don't go alone. And then my grandpa came to get me. And on the way, I remember asking him, what's happening with Ceausescu? I said, shut up, maybe they hear us.
Oh, wow.
And that scared the crap out of me, because I was, I don't know, 6, and you don't really know how big of an impact it is. But and that was first thing. Second thing, man, the queues to everything. I said this
I'm
story
sure.
in the episode with Milo as well. Man, there are people sitting in a queue without knowing what's being sold.
That's just California.
Exactly. Now.
That's California now.
Yeah.
People are like, wait, hold on. Is that a line over there? You want to go stand in that line?
It must be something I want.
It's got to be something good.
If that many people want it, it's probably something I want too.
But the thing is that they are being there because they want something. In Romania, you are there because you might get some food.
Sure.
The thing is that the basic things you couldn't get. You couldn't get milk. Couldn't get bread. So there was so that you imagine, there was half of bread per person per day.
Oh, wow.
If you needed more, Unlucky.
Yeah.
There was, I think, 1 kilo of meat per month.
Oh,
Jeez.
so small.
1 liter of milk if you had kids or something. There was a combination, so everything was rationalized, everything. And the crazy thing is, if you tell the stories now and if you say that they were rationalized, you got a card with some break cards that you took every month, when every day where you were at the store, and everyone is thinking you didn't pay for it. No, you additionally paid for that, but that small sheet of a paper give you the right to get it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable. I see a lot of people craving communism now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening everywhere. It's happening in the US, it's happening in Germany, it's happening everywhere. They said, no, it was better. No, it wasn't. No,
Right.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it was so shitty not to be able to speak your mind, not to be able to see anything. My fun was 10 minutes of TV in the evening. That was the only thing that I had. There was 10 minutes of TV. You had 2 hours of TV in total. You had no power after 9 p.m. So all this crap,
Jeez.
because he was trying to, come on, for greater good. He was saving power because he wanted to pay the external debt of Romania. And he was cutting the power of the houses to feed the factories during the night.
Oh, so they
Gotcha.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a question about kind of everything that you just said. Do you think that growing up that way and having those experiences and seeing, how tough that was, like you said, to speak your mind and to, just being under that thumb, do you think that inspired you to kind of be, as you put it, a chatter, or somebody who now wants to be online talking to a bunch of different people? Like, it seems to me, just from the time that we've been talking, you don't really have any problem with saying what you're feeling, or even having jokes and stuff like that. Is that part of the reason, or is that just you as a person?
There are two things. When you grow up as a fat kid, you have to get everything out of your mind and not to give anyone the possible advantage in front of you. So how you can do that? By having
Eat
fun
them.
about yourself. Eating. No, I tried to, but the first word did not taste that good.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Continue.
No, that's the first thing. First thing I do, I always like to quote Eminem from 8 Mile, when at the end of the battle he's saying, "Now tell them something they don't know about me." It's exactly that one. Exactly that one. So that was the first thing that kind of cured me of not having a problem, cured me of my ego, to say it like this. Second thing, I think I never thought about this, Damien, but I think it has to do something with that, because being able to speak my mind, it's always it's such a good feeling. I never so you cannot say with 6 that you couldn't speak your mind, but I saw the fear in my parents, in my grandma. I still have that moment that I remember my grandpa, which is, man, it's so strange. Even if I remember it now, I do. It's I'm going off topic a bit, but
No, go for it.
I remember vividly that I walked out of my apartment building and there was a sunset, and I know exactly the color of the sky, and I know exactly what he was wearing, because that was the impact that don't say anything,
Wow.
maybe they hear us, had on me. And it could be that's how, but I was always a chatter. I kind of what I forgot to tell you, during my high school, and also a bit of my university, I was a DJ, I think, for about 7
right
years.
on.
Nice.
In a disco, because we
Ooh.
know what a
Hey,
disco,
all right. Here we go.
We know what a disco means, right?
Yeah.
We know. We're familiar.
Exactly. And that speaking on the microphone, being able to hear my voice. The first time when I heard my voice on the microphone was like, who's that guy? That's not me. That's a strange guy speaking there. And I think that's a mixture of everything that got me to be a chatter. And I love getting to know. I told you before, Damien, I love when I saw the email from you guys, because I saw your content as well, and I thought, man, you are so cool. But you don't, like, you are saying I'm always looking up to everyone who's doing this, because everyone that is doing this podcast that we are doing, like, I think in average everyone is putting out 7 episodes and then they go out,
Yeah.
because that's the
We
motivation.
actually talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that on I almost said like our podcast. This is our podcast.
Yeah.
Where are we? What day is this?
Radio.
No, but we talked about that where it's like most people don't make it past 50.
Yeah, I
They
can't
don't even
remember
make it to 50.
what the statistic is that, like, was it 28 episodes, Damien?
I
Where it's
I
like
think it's something like that.
that's really the make or break point. If you hit 28, you're going to hit a lot more, but most don't make it to that point.
Yeah.
And I love when everybody's in this. I love everyone that is doing this, because I think this amazing thing. I would have loved to do radio. I told this Mike as well. We shared Mike as well. Mike Pence, an amazing guy.
Mike Pence.
Yeah.
You had Mike Pence on?
So Mike Payne. Mike Pence was
Mike Payne
was the vice president under Trump.
I was like, holy shit, you really are getting big, dude. Damn, son. Where'd you get that Pence from?
That part will be cut out.
No, it won't. We're keeping that.
How the hell did it get that mixed up in my head? How?
I
love it.
See, this is why you're blowing up, dude. That's brilliant.
Okay, yeah. So Mike Pence, no. I told this to Mike as well. I that was my dream job. I always liked. I would have loved to do radio. I thought about so many possibilities back then. I was thinking to get in. I did. I think nobody. I haven't told anyone this story, but I emailed all the national radio stations. I want to make a radio station in my village, like to be the first.
Oh,
one
nice.
Of course, they all said no.
Right.
Like,
right.
Of course, I didn't have, there was no marketing interest, but. And the possibility, the thing that now everyone can do this, it's only a thing of motivation and a thing of getting the extra time to do this, and not using it doing dumb scroll on I don't know whatever, and just do this, because it's I did get to meet so many nice people now, except this evening, but okay, that was not a good one. Okay,
I liked it. The crowd loved it.
Gotta have the soundboard up.
Oh, Christian's asleep at the wheel. Here we go.
Christian is looking for his guitar still.
Yeah, his guitar's taking up too much space.
It's a ukulele. We've been over this.
Bazinga. And you get to meet so many people, and man, look, you are one in Nebraska, one in LA now, and I'm in Germany. We are doing this shit. Isn't it amazing? And
well, I mean, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have known that each other existed.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Damien, you wouldn't have known Romania existed. I would have known Romania.
I'm honestly still trying to figure out where exactly that is.
Have you heard, my friend, about Ukraine?
Heard of? Yes.
Exactly. Under Ukraine.
Under Ukraine.
Close your eyes.
Okay, you've been to Czech Republic.
I love Prague.
Okay, so it's like southeast.
Two countries.
Okay, I see Ukraine. Oh yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay, I see it. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. I know you exist now.
So that's why I'm saying I think it's amazing. I'm enjoying every moment of it. I'm enjoying it. That's why I do this, because I'm enjoying every moment of this, and that's what makes me so chatty. I cannot shut up.
Yeah. No, it's amazing that we can do this, and we're so thankful we can, and it is bonkers. And I'm kind of curious, what was radio like in Romania? Like, that made you want to be like, here, like in, the States, we have like, Howard Stern was a big thing, or like even in our small like town I live at, not town, I'll call it a city, but like we have our own radio stations, but it sounds like you just had national radio stations.
There was a mix and match, because you had a handful of national stations which were broadcasting through the local stations.
Okay.
But you have to see that the huge difference that Romania has in comparison to US, we have one time zone. That means
Okay.
you can have central radio stations, because if I broadcast a morning show, it's a morning show everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
live, and it's a live interaction everywhere. And they had a mixture of, they were broadcasting the main show on the national level, but the news were the local one from the city.
Okay.
So there was a mix and match, as I'm saying. But what I loved, there was the morning shows which were ruling. Like the I think the bigger stars that Romania has at the moment, or the bigger star that they had in the radio and later in the TV area, was the morning show host. And of course now it's getting more political, but I have to say the quality of the moderators was really not bad.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we had, I think, if I'm not wrong, you have in LA a Kiss FM. If I
Yes.
remember exactly.
Yep.
So that we have a Kiss FM as well in Romania.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they bought the license. It could be that there is only a marketing thing that they have, or I don't know. But we have a Kiss FM. We have everything was let's say licensed first. So the European stations had that after 90s, because before 90 there was nothing except the national one. So
Yeah.
but after 90, and there was a handful of national stations. But
I
they
bet
were
you didn't have 89.7 The River.
The river.
Man, I was in 2017 in Fredericksburg, and I had a radio. I learned to love. I don't know if you love and hate me, or hate me for this, but I learned to love country.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And
The hat I see you have
Yeah.
on right now.
Boot Barn,
Yeah.
also not sponsored.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, Boot Barn, if you hear this, I love it. I have the boots. I have the hat.
We know
My
you're
hat-
listening.
My hat is kind of crappy, so I need the new one. Just saying.
But he will not buy it until you sponsor him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I didn't ask for anything. I just
Yep.
and I was there, and I heard the radio. I again never forget 93.3 WFLS. But I couldn't get to listen it in Europe, and now I was kind of sad when I came back. But I do get to listen to country. I love it.
That's awesome.
I want to get into it because Damien does not like country music, but
I don't hate it.
But yeah, so like, what kind of country music do you like?
Of course, I started with a commercial one, which is running like almost everywhere. I like the fact that I'm a music lover. I was always a music lover. I was in my faces. I was a rap fan for a lot of years.
Nice.
I was a rock fan for a lot of years. I am still a rock fan. I love rock in any kind of way. I still watch, and by the way, you said about Moscow, I have to make an off rant again. The first concert of Metallica in Moscow.
Yeah.
Man,
I've seen video of it, and it
that's
looks crazy.
1.6 million people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy even to say it. And I switched to country. I got country. I adopted country because of two reasons. There is music made with instruments, which is not that case anymore in music, and it has lyrics.
Yeah.
I'm not big on Christianism, but they don't bother me.
Sure.
I do like the new rising stars in country. I do like Zach Bryan, Luke Combs.
Yeah.
I do like Morgan.
Wallen.
Exactly, Morgan Wallen. I like the guy singing "Rich Man North of Richmond."
Oh yeah.
Oh, that song is so goddamn good.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Unfortunately, I have a big
Redhead guy.
Yeah.
yeah. I love the album of Post Malone, which he just finished with all the big country singers.
Yeah.
And
Jelly Roll.
Oh my God, Jelly Roll, man! That those lyrics, man.
Talk about a big guy.
Yeah.
Like who can sing.
That's what I'm talking about. Shout out Jelly Roll.
Amazing talent, but not only that, amazing story, amazing guy. Like everywhere you see the pure kindness in a person. Like you don't need to get to know him. He's kind, and that's it. Jelly Roll. I'm listening to a lot. I'm listening to all the possible country playlists that I can find via all the music streams, and then I just add into the like songs.
Yeah.
But
I usually, so here's the thing. I think a lot of people automatically, because like Christian just did it too, like Damien doesn't like country. I don't think that I don't like country. I just don't really, I don't really listen to like pop country, if that makes sense.
A lot of Nashville country is what you're
kind of like the poppy, like I want to be on the top 40s radio. I don't like stuff like that. It's usually a guy and a guitar, or it skews more towards like Southern rock.
So look, I have again, I have a problem with names, but the guy that's singing Next Thing You Know and Buy Dirt. Okay, doesn't matter.
Mike Pence.
Your pants or my pants?
Let's drop them and find out.
Okay, I'm trying a new movie. It's your hand? No, it's my hand. Oh no, that's your hand. Do you know Friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know when Joey is meeting his hand twin in LA?
Yeah.
By the way, said, "Oh no, look, that's your hand. Oh no,
Yeah.
that's my hand.
Mm-hmm.
My pants, your pants. Doesn't matter."
Love it.
The guy
new spin-off.
Yes.
Exactly. The guy that is singing those two songs, I heard him singing live at the CMF, so the Country Music Fest, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Man. And they are not faking it, man. And I know, Damien, I know that you say they want to get into top 40, but they don't fake the music. They don't fuck with the music. They are singing the music. They are able to sing, and there's something not common in today's world anymore.
I guess what I was referring to is the people who like overproduce, and it's like it's more pop than it is country. That's the stuff that I'm not super into.
Okay. Jordan Davis.
Sure. Yeah.
I searched for it.
No, but I'm more of we're huge music fans as well on this podcast.
Yeah,
so
we've had many bands on, many different artists, and
I would say the majority of our guests at this point have been artists.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's go back to the Whereabouts Tales podcast. So it's essentially, is it all expats, or are you kind of just anybody who has, because ours is kind of anybody can come on, if you stayed in your hometown, if you've moved away, if you've gone back, all of it qualifies as people who can come on. Are you generally geared more towards expats?
I started being an expat only. Okay. I realized at one point that it's hard to get only expats.
Yeah.
I joined different, I think, subreddits that we both that we all three are in, and I realized there are some interesting stories that I would like to share. And what am I doing? I'm doing now, and what I realized it's a crazy story, and I'm doing. I'm pretty often in Ask Me Anything or the expat subreddit, and I'm just seeing a story that I like, and I send him a DM or her.
Oh, nice.
Most of the cases I get an answer. There are a lot of guys who ask me for money.
I've ran into that a few times.
We can do that?
No, okay. No, they're asking to be a guest on your podcast, and you're like, "Hey, sure, come on." And they're like, "Well, I mean, $150 an hour."
No, I was saying we can when people ask us to be guests on their podcast, we can be like, "Hey,
well, now it's too late to accept it already." Okay?
I think you have to be what's called interesting to qualify for that money. I don't know that I qualify as that.
I honestly don't know. I think when the money incentive is not there, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Well, because I'm not making money.
Exactly. Not only that, but I enjoy talking to people. If you think that you make a service for me and you make money for me to come into my show, then I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yep. Yeah, there's an ulterior motive there. Not only that, but here's the other thing. It's remote. If you were living in Thousand Oaks, California, and driving to where I'm at, I wouldn't pay you. I mean, I'd order some pizza and we'd have some beers and some pizza or something. I'm not going to pay you. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm not into that. So every time I get those, I just ghost them.
I think it's because of like when people think podcasts, they're like, oh, they're making like. I think Joe Rogan really fucked that up for a lot of people because, like, oh, Joe Rogan got this. I don't know. I'm going to say billion. It's not a billion.
It's like 200 million though.
200 million to be, a Spotify exclusive podcast, and like, oh yeah, everyone's making money, and it's like, nope, we're losing money every time we do this.
Yeah.
No. And that's what. So the focus was, the first was expat. The focus. But I do love to hear stories. I do. I had Mike Pence. This will never die now. Mike, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna message him.
So
Mike,
upset
if you
about
see
this when this.
I'm so sorry.
He's like so the
crazy
opposite
story.
of Mike Pence, which is why it's funny.
Nice guy. Such. A
I
nice
love.
guy. Yeah.
We are big crazy Mike Payne fans.
Yeah.
He's been on our show twice.
One of I think our only guest who's ever been twice.
The positivity that guys has is missing this world.
Yeah.
Though he's so cheerful. I love it. I love the discussion with him.
And insane stories.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, come on. He did radio. That was my dream job.
Yeah.
So I actually wanted to talk about that because you were talking about how radio was your dream job, right? And so when I was growing up, my grandpa was on the radio. He did it. I think he's still, up until like 5 years ago, was still doing like part-time radio stuff. So that was always something that I wanted to do. And then of course the film industry, like acting and stuff like that. But kind of a secret time that I've never told anybody. I grew up thinking that the people on the radio and the people in movies were the only people who could do that. Because think about it, right? I hear the same people on the radio every day, and every movie that I watched growing up was like 4 or 5 main characters. It's like Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, people like that. So I grew up just being like, oh man, I would have loved to do that. Unfortunately, it seems like, they don't need anybody.
You make it sound like the fucking like being part of the noble family of the England's like, well, I wasn't born in that family. I can't be king of England.
I don't have blue. I think it's blue blood, right?
Blue oyster cult.
No. More cowbell.
Man, I've seen.
But no, I just always thought there's no way. I just never realized that doing this or doing radio or being in movies or TV shows, I just never thought it was a reality because I thought it was already taken.
Man, I didn't quit the idea. I have to be honest. I didn't quit the idea because I said that one day I will do a live show on the internet where I take calls in. I love this. Cannot be crazier. There cannot be anything crazier. Just to put a FaceTime number, a WhatsApp number. I don't care. Just a number, call in.
Oh my God. I want to do that. So why have I never thought about doing that? Oh, can you imagine the craziness that would happen?
Absolutely.
I feel like you almost have to have a producer to screen calls, or there's just going to be a lot of editing.
That's true.
Or you just do it live and you don't give a crap.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. You don't even have to edit. It's just happening real time.
It's true. It's like you don't get copyright strikes. You don't get anything.
That's true.
That's cool. That's a great idea. Are you planning on doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm tuning in. I'm calling in.
I will try to, because my problem is that I have to find a time that I'm able to do this, that I'm on let's say most of the time zones, because I'm not able to get all of them, but I like to be on most of the time zones, and this is going to be something I will do for sure. I love it. I think that cannot be crazy. Nothing crazier than that.
Yeah. No, that. Are most of your listeners, because we all look at our stats and that, are they American or are they like German or Romanian or?
It's interesting, I have to say, because I'm doing on YouTube. I'm doing something where I'm translating the title in major languages in Europe, and I'm adding the subtitles manually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
And I have to say it's changing depending on the guest. When I have guests living in Spain, you are messing up with the Spanish culture, so all the Spain is raising.
Yeah.
I have now someone who in the last episode I had someone I had Adrienne from US moved to France,
California, right?
Exactly. And now the French community is exploding because everyone is defending their country.
Yeah.
I have to say UK and US, it's a big chunk. Spain is a big chunk.
Hmm.
But it's all around. So
Yeah.
Germany, a lot. I think it's a huge difference between long form and short form. I don't know if it's the same for you, but it's a huge difference. So
Yeah.
you have the short form you see because mostly are scrolling, and I think they are showing based on your geolocation. So I don't know. I'm looking forward for the possibility to add audio dubbing because I think that would be interesting.
That would be really, yeah. I know that's what Mr. Beast does, and that's how he takes all of his video and hires, voice actors essentially, which now you probably can get AI to do it. But that's how
he hired famous actors. So he hired like famous voices. I think in Spain he took the voice of Arnold, and because I don't know if you know how this dub. I'm sorry, Christian, for interrupting you, but
no, go for it. You know much more than I do. I was just throwing out.
I don't know if you know how the dubbing industry is working, but in Germany, because they are doing professional dubbing of audio in the TV, when you were once the voice of Arnold Schwarzenegger or the voice of Matt Damon, you were always the voice of Matt Damon.
Yes.
Whoa, that's cool.
Because they keep that as a story for all the movies, and it's the same in Spain. It's the same, I think, in Italy. It's the same in all the countries who are dubbing.
That's guaranteed work.
That Absolutely. Is. You're really rooting for that American actor to do really well.
Exactly. You are really. I think it's a typical situation. You can say, "Man, I cannot do anything about that. He didn't make any movies."
Yeah.
So,
just don't say the Jew thing again. Mel Gibson, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Spaniard Mel Gibson, so pissed about that still.
I
was looking forward to the Passion of the Christ 4.
Exactly, and you idiot, you.
The return.
We could have had a long run together.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been oh my god, it's already been 50 minutes. That's crazy. Yeah. Christian, ask some questions.
I feel like I've been asking that.
Hashtag no pressure.
Yeah, no. So I guess we haven't really talked about it. So I can't remember if you talked about it or if we talked about it. How was it moving from Romania to Germany?
Nice question.
Of course it is.
I wanted to take my microphone and hold it up.
That's
like an interview.
Interesting question, Christian.
Thank you. You're so good at giving questions.
You could do this radio thing for a living.
It's already taken.
So I have to say, I always like to say when I'm discussing with people, I had somehow the demo version because I got my move done by a corporation that I'm working for, and that made it smoother than expected. But it's a lot of cultural things that you don't consider.
I guess. Do you mind saying what city you're in Germany?
No. I'm also in the small village, so I'll just say the big city that I'm around. Yeah. So I'm around Stuttgart.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not far away from Mannheim, which Mannheim is the second...
Steamroller.
The second biggest American military base in Europe.
Yeah.
And the first one, I think, is Ramstein, who's also not far away. Du hast mich. But Ramstein is the name of a city.
Yes.
No pun intended.
That one I've heard.
Yeah. Because of the band. Yeah, absolutely. No. So that was there are cultural differences that you don't consider. There are things like I think two low-hanging fruits that I can tell you as a story. First is the fact that in Romania you never talk about the brutto salary. In Germany you always talk about brutto. In Romania you always talk about the money that you get in hand. And during the negotiation time, that made it complicated enough because you don't understand what the hell is happening.
Yeah.
And second, the thing that the apartment hunting.
Oh,
man, that's a process. That's like a job hunting process. So
really,
you have to give your resume. You have to give your work contract to show that you have an unlimited time contract. To make sure that they are not renting to someone for a few months. And my third discussion with someone was He asked me, okay, how long do you want to stay? I said, yeah, I don't know, but 2-3 years at least. No, I don't care. I don't want you here. The last one stayed for 28 years. So anything under 20, I'm not interested in.
Oh my God.
What do you think?
So they're better than American landlords in that sense, I guess, of being like
They want you to stay.
they want, yeah,
Absolutely.
American landlords are like, if you don't get out of here in 1 year, I'm hiking your rent 200%.
yeah.
But why? I don't get
Because
it.
it's money.
Because we're in a housing crisis, and so they can do it when there's supply and demand kind of thing.
Yeah, asshole behavior.
Yeah.
Straight up asshole behavior.
Isn't it? I can't remember if it's Germany or a different like European country, but like when you move out of a place, like you take like the tile or like the flooring with you.
How do you think I redid my office?
You took it with you from Nebraska?
Yeah, dude. It's just been sitting in storage.
I want to say it's a thing or not, or like you have to like pay the people like the former like say so if it's just a rent, like you're not purchasing it, you're just renting it, and someone put in a new floor, you have to like pay them for that new floor that they put in.
So the nicest story was from a friend of mine who moved I think 6-7 months before me, and they moved in a freshly built apartment.
Yeah.
And they had like no mirrors, they had no lamps, they had nothing in the apartment. No, not the flooring. That was a bit overboard, but I mean, for example, the kitchen furniture, which is usually not fitting to any other apartment than the apartment that you are, because usually it's specially made for the size of the place that you have in the kitchen. That's something that you have to own, because otherwise you are kind of fucked up. The thing is that you learn new words that you'd never know that existed before. Like furnished, they have Germany is big for when they think that it makes sense to make a long word, they just make a long word. And this is Einbauküche. So when you say this word, it's a long word, but it says built-in kitchen.
Yeah.
In one word. And everyone tell me, no, you have to search for the Einbauküche. I have to say I had some good colleagues at work, which helped a lot. And you know that bullshit with people in Germany are colder and so on. That's not true. People are kinder. People are different in all the places, and every forest has its own dry trees. So you always have shitty persons. Like
yeah,
cannot
of course.
That. But I had good colleagues. The big difference is made by the people who did work or lived outside outside of Germany, because they understand your point. So that's why it's good when you move into a new country, you should first of all try to connect with the people who already have been outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Because otherwise the people who are there, born and raised, I had the here in my village, right, the house in front, across the street from me, there was a pair. I think he was 95 when he moved and she was 92.
Wow.
They were born and raised here. Like, man, the dialect that they were speaking, because you can imagine, like old and not lived the place, but kind persons. But the first, I think, 2 or 3 months, the only thing that I was there, I was smiling and nothing. I understood crap, nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was the advantage. Other than that, you have a lot of cultural crashes. I paid a lot of speeding tickets because in Romania speeding limits are optional. So if the police, I'm just joking, but
I was like, that's awesome. I'm moving there.
No, it sounds like me and Damien have a very good friend who lives in Phoenix, and they
Can't
came
say
back.
His name.
Yeah, for legal purposes. But he came back to visit his family back in Nebraska, and I was like meeting with him. I was like, oh, how's it being back? And he was like, yeah, speed limits don't really exist in Phoenix. So coming back to a place like you were talking about where they're kind of more enforced, or people think they're more enforced, versus like he was talking about when he first moved to Phoenix. He was like, yeah, I was going like 15 over and people were flipping me off because I was going too slow. I was like, what?
And this is the same guy, by the way, who used to live back in our hometown, and he would get speeding tickets regularly on the highway going like 5 miles per hour over.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, that juxtaposition of like, then he moves away and nobody cares if you speed. And then he
Yeah.
goes back home and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get pulled over again the first time back."
So the thing is that of course in Romania they're not optional, but if the police is not there, you don't give a crap. And usually people are using these apps. I think Waze. I don't know if you know Waze, but people are using Waze. You are just flashing each other when the police is there. So if you go inside the inside the normal lived places, so the cities and so on, you have a 50 kilometers per hour speed limit. So that's about 30 something, 35, 37 miles per hour, and that's nobody gives a shit about it. So everyone is speeding as long as the police is not there. And I think the first month and a half here, I paid about 350 euros in speeding tickets because I fucking took all of them. And the thing is that they have something like a pillar on the side of the street, and they have some cameras inside. You see a red flash, and you don't know what. And the first 2 or 3, I thought, what was that? I was looking around. What was that picture? Who was making picture with flash? That was a strange red flash. And after a few days, I asked a colleague of mine, what was the red flash? Ooh, that was going to be a speeding ticket.
Busted.
And you get it at home. Yeah. The cool thing is that Romania and Germany being EU, you don't have to exchange driving license. You don't have you don't need a different ID here. I'm, in the meantime, entitled for citizenship here, but it's not something which is pressuring me because you have somehow the same rights. So
that's so cool.
A huge benefit of EU.
Yeah, no, the EU is amazing in that aspect of like once you're a country in it, moving around is so easy and like probably saved you a lot of paperwork and headaches of like moving for your job versus like, you know, us or like you had Milo on where he had it like he got very lucky that his work did all the paperwork for him because it is, I can't imagine, or
that's what
the other way around coming to the States.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. That was actually what I was going to say too. Is it, mental note, it does seem like the only real way to move to a different country is through your job.
Man,
it seems like the only way.
I had what was the English word for it? I have to think about it. So I had my contract. I had a 3 months working contract in the US because of my company here. Because when they opened their place or the places in there, I was there for a longer period. And for the 3 months, because of the difference between EU and US, I had to go to the. You have to name the office to an office to get the social security ID.
Oh yeah.
I got a working contract. I needed to have an address, which by the way was the office that we had there because there was no other office. I had a hotel for 3 months.
Yeah.
And the tax statement.
Oh yeah.
Tax statement, man. That was a pain in the ass on both sides.
Yeah, and probably just even getting your like visa into the States is complicated. Like, because when I went and studied in the UK, I had to get a visa, and like having to be an American dealing with US immigration was terrible. And so now I can't imagine someone where it's their second language and then like not being in the States. It's got to be just atrocious.
We had again like Damien said, the best and the only way I think not to everyone who's trying to do this would be to have it done by a company by your employer, because that makes it so much easier. We had we had all the paperwork sent to us. There was 180 A4 bloody
oh my
papers.
God.
When the post guy came to me and gave me the box, there was not an envelope. There was a fucking box.
He's like, this is 45 pounds.
And said, and then with notes, sign this, send back, sign this, move to page that one, sign this, because there was no digital. It was before Corona, before COVID, and you didn't have the digital option.
Oh, you can use DocuSign or something.
No, not even the case. And then they called me 2 days because I sent back the documents, and they said you forgot. They called me 2 days before my appointment at the embassy, and said you forgot to send us a form. I said, but there was not in our form. Oh, we forgot to send it to you.
Yep. So go ahead, fill that out as well as just fill everything out again.
Yep.
That's our mistake, but you're gonna pay for it.
Have you ever been in the U.S. embassy in Europe?
No,
I have.
Okay. And this crazy no phones, no communication policy while you're inside. This is mental. I mean, in my case, was so crazy because I had to talk to that lady from the immigration
that's
company.
right. Yeah.
And every time I had to go out, went through security at the embassy, then go back in, take my phone, call her, go back in, take my
Oh
phone.
my God, dude.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I
Yeah.
do get it why. I do get the purpose of it. Don't get me wrong. But for a normal person who has no criminal intentions, it's just making everything so complicated.
Yep.
Yeah. And then they wonder why people lose their cool in situations. It's like, yeah, I already don't know what's going on, and now you're fucking, sending me back and forth. Yeah, I would lose my cool. I lost my cool putting a bed together the other day. So
I think this office move for you, Damien, was really hard. What can you tell us about that?
it's not as hard as you would think. It's just that my temper is so low that one little thing goes wrong, and I'm just like, you know what? I should have hired somebody who could have done this a lot easier. But realistically, it took me all combined, the whole thing. It took my wife and I like 7 hours. So it's really not that big of a deal. But, one little thing goes wrong and you start to lose your mind.
I told you before starting this recording that I'm since a few months in renovation, and the only thing that I'm doing is mounting furniture. I hate it.
Yeah.
Done.
It's so frustrating.
I hate it.
Yeah. So, yep, that's it. There's really no reason for me to have such a bad attitude about it, but here we are.
Yeah.
We are getting to the end here. So I have 2 more questions. Christian, is there any other ones that you have?
Fire them away, bud.
All right. My first of my last 2 questions is, I actually wanted to kind of go back to Romania real quick with you. When you were growing up, given the circumstance of everything, did you ever get to travel that much? Did you ever go on vacations or anything like that?
My first trip outside Romania was when I was 17, and there was, I had a 3 weeks scholarship in southern UK, which was magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Was it
Jinx?
The first. Nobody knows what I meant. Was a dream. The first flight was a dream. There were no direct flights from Romania. We had to drive to Budapest, to Hungary, because there was not too far away to fly. But there was no possibility to go outside. My first and last holiday on the seaside with my parents was in '89.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay.
I was 6 or something.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while was maybe going to we had spring. We had some spring thermal springs, so they're not so far away from us. And there was something that was happening every once in a while, but no. So traveling was not an option. One of the things that I'm keep pushing my limits. My wife and my kid, I take them places. I drive like crazy in Europe. Because I have the benefit that I'm living in the middle of Europe somehow, and I am maybe 1.5 hours away from France, 2 hours away from Switzerland, and maybe I'm 4 hours away from Prague. So
beautiful.
I can have like let's say a holiday trip to any of these places, which is kind of nice.
Do you do that pretty frequently or no?
Yeah, we actually do it. So we do Italy. Italy is a 6 hours drive, which I know for
that's
us
not
is
bad.
nothing. But
That's
Italy
not
is a
bad.
6 hour drive. So we are actually going next weekend for an amusement park there. We go pretty often in France. Strasbourg is not really far away. I like to say that the people in Germany, not I like to say, but the people in Germany are calling Strasbourg the nicest French city in Germany.
That's hilarious.
I love that. I was also going to say, you're going to an Italian theme park. What is it? Marinara Land?
You would think so.
Meatball Palace?
Man, they didn't. No, it's Spaghetti Land.
Spaghetti Land?
No, they didn't.
Chicken Parm Park.
They redone their own version of Disneyland.
Oh,
And
they're going to get sued.
No, but of course they didn't call it Disneyland. Of course.
Yeah.
They
It's
called it
near-
Mickey Land.
It's near. No, it's near a lake, a huge lake in Italy, and they call
Lake
it just
Garda?
the name. Yeah, exactly. It's near the. Okay.
I'm
Nice one.
going. I'm going there in like 4 weeks. So
Yeah.
No way.
yeah,
I can give you several tips.
let's go.
Several tips. You have to go to Malcesine. Are you going to
Maltese.
Malcesine. Where are you staying?
Malcesine.
Where are you staying?
I don't know because I'm the typical husband, and it was planned, and I'm just going.
So I'm honest about this. If you need tips, just let me know. I've been
Yeah.
there 8-9 times.
Wow.
Beautiful, nice.
I've been almost into all the places. I can recommend you really cool places to go to.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll email you about that because
Yeah.
I need some. We're doing that, Croatia and Greece, so
Oh,
I need
nice.
some
Nice.
tips.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No. You had the second question.
Oh, yeah. Question 2. Now that you have kind of gotten out of Romania and you've experienced living elsewhere, if there's anywhere that you could live, anywhere else on planet Earth that you could live, where do you think you would want that to be?
US.
Ooh, okay. Anywhere in particular?
I'm a US fanboy. I said it several times in my
Mm,
podcast because I lived growing with the cliches from the movies.
Oh yeah.
Man, the feeling that I had in 2017, first time being in US and seeing the school bus,
Yeah.
I got goosebumps
Yeah.
because I like New York, I like Florida, I like North Carolina, I like South Carolina.
There's something with a lot of our international guests that we've had on where they've talked about North Carolina, and it's not been a place I like living in the States. I've never been. I don't think
never
Damien,
been either.
you've been.
So look,
I have no interest of really visiting.
I've been in Raleigh, so close to Raleigh in North
Yep.
Carolina.
Yeah, I actually have a good friend who just moved there.
And I have to tell you, the kindness of the people surprised me.
Mhm.
And when you drive, so last year, I think it was last year, 2024, I've done a road trip from with my wife and my kid. I have a 6-year-old kid who loves to stay in the car, so he got used to it.
Yeah.
And we drove from New York to Miami and back.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a long trip.
Yeah,
The
3
whole
weeks.
coast.
Yeah, the whole coast. And I have to say, driving south from New York, I like New York. I love New York. I love New York. I just think it's an amazing place to be. I don't know if it's an amazing place to live because I don't have the experience.
Right.
I only visited it, but I would live there for a month of my life, for
Okay.
sure. But driving south, what impressed me, Christian, and I have to say that was something that shocked me, was the kindness of the people. Like you see progressing as you drive south.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
The southern hospitality starts to grow
Exactly,
and grow and grow as
exactly.
you get down there. Yeah.
I was in the nicest story. I think one of the nicest stories that I have from this road trip was we stopped in. Please don't ask me the name. I don't think I will ever know the name of the city. I just said I'm hungry. My wife searched something like a diner, and we stopped somewhere in South Carolina in the city, and there was an all-you-can-eat southern buffet.
Oh yeah.
And the way in which we were welcomed there.
Mhm.
Besides the fact that everyone was on the first name basis, so everyone knew each
Yeah.
other. There was for sure a small city, but they behaved so nice. They talked so nice to us, and of course you get it from the accents. We are not from there, for sure.
Yeah.
No question asked. But the kindness. But to answer your question, Damien, I am not keen on any other country. I'm looking for the experience at this moment. My home is not here.
Yeah.
And for me, sky is the limit.
Wow. Okay.
I don't have anything that is holding me back. I don't have any kind of family. My parents are in Romania, so I go up back and forth to visit them. They come to visit the kid. I have the advantage that my son is speaking English.
There you go.
So I don't really care. I don't have plan for the moment to go back to Romania.
Mhm.
I say that if I will plan it later, it could happen. I never say never. You don't know what's happening in your life. But I would love to experience different places because I think what makes us have an open mind is meeting different people from different areas, because otherwise we are not able to understand each other.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
And I think, I don't know if it's going to be Italy, if it's going to be Spain, if it's going to be Portugal. I travel a lot due to my job, and I have to say I'm lucky because of that. I've seen most of the countries in Europe because of my job. I met so many cool persons. I realized, man, every prejudice that we have is wrong.
Oh, yeah.
About
It's all
every
bullshit.
country. It's all bullshit. You
Yep.
don't, until you don't get to know the persons in that country, it's all bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that was, honestly, that's probably the biggest reason, the second biggest reason why Christian and I wanted to do this podcast. Him and I have traveled quite a bit to quite a few different countries, and I mean, you just end up being friends with so many people that you never would have thought you'd ever even meet, let alone like one of our best friends who lives in the UK is coming in November to stay with us for a week. It's like, so we're going to have somebody who's from a different part of the world staying in our house with us. That never would have happened if we hadn't traveled and been open-minded enough to just start talking with people.
It also helps you live in LA. They wouldn't be coming to Omaha, Nebraska.
That's
Why
true.
not? I would. Why
See?
not? Ask me.
Paul would.
Actually, Damien is he's coming back here in the fall, and some of his LA friends are coming back with him, and so.
But look, I'm telling you, I was talking to Adrienne last episode. She said, "Yeah, but she said I was studying in Washington, the state, not DC. Nobody knows it. Yeah, of course nobody knows, because when you don't care about the state in US, you don't know it. But I think every state has his own culture, his own heritage. This makes it special. I said if I could, I think the life is not long enough. But I'm going to philosophical areas now. But if I could, I would stay for a month in every of the US states, because I think every of the states has its own things that we love.
I know you were talking about how nice people are in like North Carolina and stuff, and like this other, like I think it's because in the Midwest.
Is it me or?
No, Christian, your mic stopped working.
Your guitar is entered the line.
I don't even think he can hear us. Nope.
Just unplug the guitar. Unplug the guitar.
Go acoustic.
Dang it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, now I'm
there
good.
You
now,
go.
Now it's going. Yeah, my mic just decided to go fuck itself. So.
Yep. Sorry, what were you saying, Christian?
Oh, how like I think a lot of people, especially being on the East Coast, or when they come to visit the States, like the Midwest definitely gets overlooked because there's not a lot here. But I would say the people are maybe even nicer than the people in the South.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Midwest is pretty. The Midwest is when you hear people who go and visit for the first time, even in places like Chicago, which is a big city, but people talk about how nice everybody is in the Midwest too. So maybe it's just America. Maybe Americans just rule.
I'm sorry,
Northeast.
European ignorant here, but what exactly are you calling Midwest?
Ooh, so this is fun, Christian.
That is a big question.
I want to talk about this because Abby and I just my wife and I were just talking about this, and she is flabbergasted at my philosophy about this. So you explain what the real Midwest is, and I'll explain my side of the story.
Well, it's the hard part. It does change quite, but for the most part, what people would say is stereotypical Midwest would be, so Nebraska for sure, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota. Missouri's a weird one because half of it's southern, but half of it's in the Midwest. Illinois, Indiana, and then it gets a little dicey with Ohio. I would say Ohio is the end point.
See, and that, and then to the west, what would you say is the cutoff for the Midwest?
I would say Nebraska, because then you get into the mountains. If you have the Rocky Mountains, then the mountains, and then once you get west of the mountains, that's the West Coast.
Yeah, because I was talking to my wife, and I consider Ohio like inland East Coast. Like that's so far east that I don't even consider that the Midwest. I think that's where the East starts. And then even up to like Minnesota and Wisconsin and like North Dakota, those are like North. I don't even consider those Midwest, but a lot of people will say anything from like Minnesota to Ohio is the Midwest. And like, that's way too much. The Midwest, I think, is like 4 or 5 states. Like,
So yeah, you have a very narrow. Some people even consider parts of Pennsylvania.
I know. I'm like, that is insane.
I don't consider like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh feels like a Midwest city,
but it's
also
not.
feels like an East Coast city.
But you can get to New York from Pennsylvania in a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, also Pennsylvania is on the ocean.
That's what I mean. I'm like, it is not the Midwest is like landlocked.
If Pennsylvania is not East Coast, then I don't know what's East Coast.
That's what exactly, and that's how I feel about Indiana too.
It's such a big state, but yeah, Midwesterners are known for stereotypically being nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then as you get west is when it starts to get a little dicey.
Yeah, and then you make it out to California.
Then you make it to good old Los Angeles. Anyways,
weird is what I call it.
I knew it as Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, City of Angels.
So the thing is that I have the benefit of being allowed to have a sabbatical holiday. Do you know what a sabbatical holiday is?
I know what it is. I've never gotten one.
I have the option to have 3 months now of sabbatical.
Wow.
And I took that option because that's an amazing time that I can spend with my family and my kid as well, because he's going to school next year, so it's not going to be that easy anymore this year in autumn. And one of the things that I'm thinking was, I was thinking about, I have some things in my head. So Boston was an option. I know it's not Midwest, but Boston is a nice city, at least from our perspective as from European.
Absolutely.
But what was also on my interest list was Colorado, because of the mountains.
I lived in Colorado for a few years, and it is very cool. I would, especially Denver's the largest city there.
I would say anywhere but Denver.
Yep,
I would recommend visiting.
And I like Denver.
Anywhere except Denver, you're good.
I like Denver, but don't go there.
Don't go there.
Just don't. Yeah.
Don't do it. No, but Colorado is one of the prettiest states, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely up there.
I saw Christian's eyes look like he is about to snap.
I'm trying to figure out my microphone still.
Oh.
I will keep this question for the next time we see each other. Are you friends?
All right, everybody. It's been a fun episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Remain, Rome, Return. Until next time, thank you, Paul. Shout out where people can find you. What's your podcast? Tell people where they can find you.
Whereaboutstales, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, and Instagram and X.com.
All right. You heard it here. Check out Paul. Thanks. Check out the Whereabouts Tales. And until next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.